Hi guys, I'm Charlie Book Fanatic, and today I'm filming with my hands in my phone. Yeah, with my phone in my hands because I honestly don't feel like filming and I have so much work to do. So I just want to get this over with quickly. I want to put out a video for you guys. So we're going to do that. And today I'm going to do the book Courtship tag, and this is a book tag. I will link the creator down below because I don't know it right now. So if you want to check out the original video, I will link it down below. Phase 1, Initial Attraction, a book you bought because of the cover. And the biggest cover buy for me on my bookshelf right now is Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. Yeah, I did initially buy this for the cover. I wanted to read it because it was mentioned in the book I was reading at the time. It was Away We Go, by the way, by Emil Ostrovsky, and there was a virus in that was called Peter Pan virus, and that made me want to read this book. And I also have a lot of retellings on my TBR, so I really wanted to read it. And then I saw this on my usual book buying website, and I decided to get it for myself. And it's the prettiest thing I have ever seen. And honestly, I wouldn't have bought it if it didn't have this pretty cover. Phase 2. A book that you got because of the summary, and for this one I'm choosing Freak Boy by Kristen Elizabeth Clark, and I think it is a book about a transgender, or at least someone who doesn't feel comfortable with his or her own body and wants to be the other gender, I believe. And I got this one because of the transgender aspect of it, and I read the summary and I was like, yes, this book grabbed my attention and I just wanted to read it. Phase 3, Sweet Talk, a book with great writing. And for this one I picked Velvet Jean Learns to Drive, which is the first book in the Velvet Jean series by Jennifer Niven, who also wrote All the Right Places. Velvet Jean Learns to Drive is historical fiction, first of all, and it's adult, I believe, as well, so it's totally different from Jennifer Niven's All the Right Places, which I loved and made me want to read her other books. So I started with Velvet Jean Learns to Drive, and it has amazing writing. It's so different, the writing as well, not only the subject matter, but the writing as well. And it was really great. It made me really feel for Velvet Jean, and was kind of like living her life because she grew up throughout this book. And there's also a second book which I really want to read because Jennifer Niven just knows how to write. And the really great thing about this is there is a song in this. I'm sorry, it's so wobbly. There is a song in this, and Jennifer Niven wrote a song because Velvet Jean is a singer and she likes to sing. And she wrote a song, and I then looked it up, and someone actually made a singing version of it. Like, they sang it on YouTube. It's not, it wasn't through Jennifer Niven that it happened, but it was really great to see it come to life. Phase 4, First Date, the first book of a series which made you want to pick up the rest of the series. And for this one I chose The Boys of Summer, which is the first book in the summer series by C.J. Duggan. I found this book on the Kobo store. It was for free back then, and I wanted something to read, so I just picked it up, and I started to read it, and I started reading it, and it was so good. Like, it was my introduction to new adult, and it was so great, and I picked up the rest of the series, and I only have the last book, which is Forever Summer, still to read, and I'm going to do that next month in May, and I'm in love with the series. I fell in love with C.J. Duggan's writing. I read her other series, the Paradise series, and like, it's a duology, and I read all the 2 books. I don't know if she has another series out, but I don't think I was interested in that. But she knows how to write new adult, and I fell in love with that series, and I was addicted. Phase 5, Late Night Phone Calls, a book that kept you up all night. And for this one I chose not really a book I read throughout the night, but a book that really kept me awake at night with because it gave me nightmares, and that was American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis. This book is about a serial killer, and there's real violence described in this. It's really graphic, and because it was so graphic with guts and gore and blood, I really can't stand that stuff, and I get nightmares from it, and that was the case with American Psycho, so that's why it kept me up all night. Phase 6, Always on My Mind, a book you could not stop thinking about. For this one I chose The Sky is Everywhere by Jenny Nelson. It was a long time since I fell in love with a book. as much as I did with The Sky is Everywhere, because it's been a while. Like, the last time I remember falling in love with a book that much was Aristotle and Dante Discovered Secrets of the Universe back in 2013 or 2014, I think 2014. And then All the Bad Places by Jennifer Niven back in 2015. And then I read The Sky is Everywhere, I think like nearing the end of 2015, beginning 2016. I think it was in 2015. But I fell in love. Like, it was the first book I read by Jenny Nelson. She has 2 books out now, and afterwards I picked up another book, I'll Give You the Sun, and it was so good. Like, but Skies Everywhere made me think so much because it dealt with grief so well, and it gave me a whole new perspective on it. Phase 6, Getting Physical, a book which you love the way it feels. And for this one, I chose the Dutch copy of The Knife of Never Letting Go, the first book in the Chaos Walking trilogy by Patrick Ness. And I like the way it feels because this book, like, wait a moment, this is really hard. This book, like, you touch this feels completely different to the rest of the book. And the word chaos as well, like, it feels completely different. And I really like it. It's feels kind of like gel. Phase 8, Meeting the Parents, a book which you would recommend to your family and friends. And for this one, I thought long and hard, but I chose Clockwork Angel, which is the first book in the Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare. And this is a bit of a weird one because I was really bored by the first 2 books in the Infernal Devices trilogy. The second time I read them, specifically the first book, because I read the first book 2 times and the second book 1 time, but I'd never read the third book. So the first time I read Clockwork Angel, I fell in love with it. I was so obsessed. I couldn't stop reading it, and that's why I would recommend it to my family and friends, because it's kind of addictive, and I believe it's a book for everyone. But the second time I read, I was just bored, and then I picked up the second book, and I could barely get through it because I was so bored and not invested in the characters at all. And I don't know why that was, but I guess I read The Clockwork Angel at the right time back then, or I wasn't just that invested in books like I am right now. Phase 9, Thinking About the Future, a book or series you know you'll reread many times in the future. And I haven't reread this book ever yet, but I'm going to say Night Film by Marisha Pessl. Night Film is a thriller, and it's the first thriller I absolutely adored. Like, Night Film is goals. I have never enjoyed a thriller more than I enjoyed Night Film. Like, it's crazy. So much suspense, and the format of it is great. Like, there's pictures in it, there's documents in it, and it's told through text, but also through these documents, which really pull you into the story, which I really, really liked. And Night Film is one of those books I can never forget. I would really like to feel the way I felt when I read Night Film for the first time, and I hope I will get that feeling back when I reread it, because I forgot a lot about it because it's been a while since I read it. And phase 10 is Share Love, Who Do You Tag? And I tag all of you who want to do this tag, who haven't done it yet, but most people have done it because I see it on a lot of channels. But if you haven't done it, I tag you. I feel like this video was kind of a success anyway, even though I'm not in my usual setup, but I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry I'm not in my usual setup, but I just have a lot to do, and I felt like this was quicker to do. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching anyway. Goodbye!